Hi everybody, I'm your guest lecturer, Mr. Bredekamp. I'm from the Department of Electrical, Electronic and Computer Engineering at CPUT, and I will be taking you through the slides for Chapter 7 that deals with the Internet, Intranets and Extranets. So what are our learning objectives? We have to describe the makeup of the Internet and the World Wide Web, discuss navigational tools, search engines and directories, describe common Internet services, summarize widely used web applications, and explain the purpose of intranets. Now, before we go any further, I would like to stress that the Internet is a physical thing. It is made up of a number of physical networks that are connected together. The World Wide Web is an application, a software application that runs on top of the Internet. So, to be technically correct, when you're browsing using your web browser and you're looking at web pages, you're using the World Wide Web running on top of the Internet. That is an interesting one to think about. Let's go further. Discuss navigational tools, search engines and directories, describe common Internet services, summarize widely used web applications, and explain the purpose of intranets. We need to explain the purpose of extranets. Immediately look at the different wording here. Intra, extra. Intra meaning internal and extra meaning external. Summarize the trends of the Web 2.0 and Web 3 eras and Internet 2 and describe the Internet of everything. So what is the Internet? It's a worldwide collection of millions of computers and networks of all sizes. Notice that they say networks and computers. These are all physical things. It is a network of networks. It was started in 1969 as a project by the United States Department of Defense called DARPA, or ARPA, the Advanced Research Projects Agency Network. And what they wanted was a resilient, redundant computer network that could withstand nuclear attack. So the idea was that you would have multiple sites connected together by multiple communications links in such a way that if a particular node or location is destroyed, data can be routed via another path, making it very difficult to destroy the entire network, but you can disable only portions of it. The ARPANET eventually evolved into the National Science Foundation network in 1987. The Internet backbone is the foundation network linked with fiber optic cables that can support high bandwidth. The same way that your backbone supports your body, the Internet backbone supports Internet networks that link to that backbone. It's made up of many interconnected government, academic, commercial and other high-capacity data networks linked together by devices called routers. Private companies operate their own Internet backbones that interconnect at network access points. The World Wide Web changed the Internet in 1989. Now look again, changed the Internet. So the Internet has been around since 1969. But the World Wide Web has only been around since 1989. That is the application, HTTP, web pages that runs on top of the Internet. The World Wide Web introduced a graphical interface to the text-based Internet of the time. It organizes information by using hypermedia and hyperlinks. Documents include embedded references to audio, text, images, video, and other documents. Hypertext is or are embedded references in hypermedia documents. So when you click on one of those blue links, you're clicking on a hyperlink that links to another document, and that is called hypermedia and is delivered to you using HTTP, or the protocol with which we deliver web pages. Hypertext Transfer Protocol. A server or a web server, what's that? Any computer that stores hypermedia documents and makes them available to other computers on the Internet. It is an exciting feature of the web. Hypermedia can be stored anywhere in the world. So users can jump from a site in the US to a site in France in a few milliseconds. What are domain names? They're unique identifiers of computer or network addresses on the Internet. The Internet uses IP addresses. IP addresses are assigned by the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, called ICANN. The domain name system, DNS, is a protocol that converts domain names into IP addresses when information is transferred from one network to another. To demonstrate this, I'm going to quickly open a command prompt and you can have a look. Let's do this, ns lookup, and let's do cnn.com. Alright, so here it came up with a number of addresses for that server. The server with the domain name cnn.com has the internet address 151.101.1.67, and there are a number of servers that responded to that request for information. So cnn.com, the domain, is served by a number of internet servers. Here they all are, each with its own internet address, its IP address. Domain names are used to identify a web page in uniform resource locators, or URLs. They refer to the address of a document or site and have a suffix that indicates the top-level domain. It denotes the type of organization or country the address specifies. So .com is commercial, .co is commercial, .za is South Africa, .net is usually reserved for network operators and so on. So .net, .com, .co, .za, .co.uk is commercial in the UK, and so on. They're divided into top-level domains and country code top-level domains. So .com are commercial organizations, .edu, .int, mil, gov, net, org. You can have a look at this list. There are many more, and you can Google generic top-level domains and see how many there are. A number of new ones have been created recently that you can have a look at. So what are the different types of internet connections or connection methods? Well, dial-up modems, they don't really use these anymore, they're obsolete, but I suppose you can still do it if you have to. Cable modems, which you can see as being your digital subscriber line, because they still have a cable coming into them. Alright, there they notice DSL. You get different kinds of DSL. The DSL we use in South Africa is asymmetric DSL, and asymmetric means that it's not the same going up and down. You have more data throughput going in towards you than data throughput going out from you. And the reason ADSL works is that you as a user request web pages, and the requests are quite simple. Please can I have page 2? Please can I have page 3? Please can I have page 4? But the actual page that you are asking for is a lot bigger and takes up more data. So if you have DSL, they typically say something like 1 megabit per second up, 10 megabit per second down, or something like that. It's asymmetric. And then you get very high speed DSL, which runs into the tens of megabits per second. Of course, in South Africa now, we also have fiber to the home, where fiber optic cable is available to your house directly. So let's take a look at the navigational tools, search engines, and directories. Navigational tools are used to travel from website to website. This is essentially your internet browser. And an example of internet browsers are Firefox, Microsoft Edge, Google's Chrome. There's many others. There's one called Opera that you can have a look at. Search engines, we all know about Google, but there's also Yahoo. There's other search engines that are specialized with regards to the material that they provide. Directories, these are indexes of information based on keywords embedded in documents. Take a textbook. Take your mathematics textbook, or take your accounting textbook. In the back is a directory. with keywords. So if you've got a mathematics textbook, you can look in the back and you can look up Fourier, and it'll tell you, okay, the word Fourier appears on page 267. That's a directory. Navigational tools. Graphical web browsers, we all have those. We know what they do. We know how they work. That's pretty easy. Search engines. Okay? Search engines crawl the web, looking for things and indexing things and storing things. They use software called crawlers, spiders, and bots to search the web continuously for new data. And that is how Google knows where things are, because it follows a link and then a link and then a link and then a link and then a link, and so it crawls through the internet, almost like a fungus grows, its tendrils going everywhere, trying to find new data. The gathered data is sent back to the search engine's data center to ensure that it has the most current information. It uses indexing, alright, and if you take a look at a place like Google, they've got servers housed at server farms. And search engines use keywords to index the data that is coming in from the crawlers. Have a search on what does a server farm look like? What is a server farm? Just like a farm might be a collection of 100 cows, a server farm might be a collection of 100 servers or more. Each keyword has an index entry that is linked to all web pages containing that keyword. Searching using a search engine uses the index created during the indexing step to look up the search term. It identifies all web pages linked to the term if the term exists in the index. It has a certain level of intelligence. If you type into Google, what is 2 plus 2? Google will say it's 4. It is intelligent in the way that it can understand what you ask. You can even, if you've got a tablet computer, you can say things like, hey Google, and the tablet will answer back, yes, how can I help you? And you can say, I would like a bread recipe, and it will come back and give you a number of bread recipes. An automated or crawler-based directory creates indexes of search terms and collects these terms automatically by using crawlers. A human-powered directory requires keywords to be manually submitted for a web page to be listed in a search engine's results. It relies on users to supply data. Now, if you have a web server, you can actually leave a little text file on that web server for the bot to read. So you can actually communicate with the bot if you're a person who owns a web page. Internet services. They're made possible by the TCP suite of protocols. A suite is, it's probably from French, a suite is a collection of. So TCP/IP provides useful email protocols like the simple message transfer protocol and the post office protocol, and popular services include email, newsgroups, discussion groups, internet relay chat, instant messaging, and internet telephony. Notice the names of the protocols. So if Mr. Smuts asks you, give me an example of an email protocol, you can say SMTP or POP. SMTP is used to, well, we're not going to differentiate which is used for which at this level. Just know that SMTP and POP are email protocols. Email is a widely used service on the internet, and the main types you get are web-based email, client-based email. So if you use Gmail, that is web-based. If you use something like Outlook on an office computer, that is client-based. Email programs contain folders for organizing emails. It has an address book and distribution groups, contains spell checkers, and can give you delivery notifications. Newsgroups and discussion groups are formed for people to exchange opinions and ideas on a specific topic. Group members post messages or articles that others in the group find interesting and can read. Newsgroups are more general in nature and can cover any topic. It allows people to get together for fun or for business purposes. Instant messaging Internet Relay Chat enables users in chat rooms to exchange text messages with people in other locations in real time, and instant messaging, which is a service for communicating with others via a private chat room on the Internet. Applications include Windows Messenger, Yahoo Messenger, and Google Chat. And of course, this course is a little bit older, so it doesn't include things like WhatsApp. Okay, WhatsApp is also an instant messaging service that is enabled or made possible by the Internet. There's Snapchat, which is a new type of messaging system offered by a mobile app. Users combine pictures, videos, text, and drawings into snaps that are sent to other users. Snaps delete themselves or self-destruct in a matter of seconds and can be undeleted and brought back to life if you have to. It is possible to have a voice conversation over the Internet using an application called Internet Telephony. Using the Internet to exchange spoken conversations is called VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol. It requires a high-speed, high-quality Internet connection and a microphone or headset. It is used to route traffic starting and ending at the conventional public switch telephone network or phones. Now, if you make a call using a regular landline, that voice conversation is carried over dedicated networks, not over the Internet. But if you make a voice call using WhatsApp, that voice data is carried over the Internet. And you will probably find that the sound quality is better than a traditional phone. And it's a lot cheaper than a traditional phone, and it's a lot more convenient in certain cases. I quite like WhatsApp voice calls, especially if you've got Wi-Fi. It doesn't cost you anything. So what is the drawbacks? What are the drawbacks of internet telephony? Well, they say a lack of call quality. I don't agree with this. In the last couple of years, the internet connections we have at our disposal have become faster and more stable. But again, fast and stable. You need those two network connection qualities to have a good internet telephony conversation. What are the advantages? Absence of busy lines, receiving voicemails on the computer or on your phone. Somebody can leave you a voice message on WhatsApp. They don't have to talk to you directly. And the ability to screen callers and forward calls from anywhere in the world. Direct calls to the correct departments and take automated orders. Many organizations actually have the ability for you to chat directly to a representative using WhatsApp. So what are some web applications? Several service industries use the internet and its supporting technologies. They offer services and products to a wide range of customers at more competitive prices and with increased convenience. The tourism and travel industry has benefited from e-commerce web applications. Travel websites allow customers to book tickets for plane trips and cruises and make reservations for hotels and rental cars. Major publishers in the US and Europe have websites that offer descriptions of forthcoming books, sample chapters, and online ordering and search features. Books that can be read online for free are also available. Purchase options exist where you get an electronic version of a book. University websites offer information about departments, programs, faculty, and academic resources, virtual tours of the campus, online degree programs, and helps colleges and universities facing an enrollment decline. Professional certificate programs are also available. Go to cput.ac.za and have a look at what the CPUT website contains and what services it offers. There's also real estate websites that can help you buy a home and get services like appraisals and so on. Employment websites that allow you to upload your CV, search for jobs, and get automated emails and messages back from that website telling you of jobs that matches your search requests. We all use online banking, so financial institutions can also use the internet. A number of online banking services are available, and you can have a look at this slide. You can just pause the video and have a look. When you next use your internet banking, have a look at the services that are supplied. Software distribution is also possible via the internet. Vendors can distribute their software quickly and easily. These days, if you buy Microsoft Windows, you don't actually get a disk anymore. You get a number and you download it from the internet. Healthcare has also benefited from the internet. Websites store patient records on the internet. Patient information is accessible from one central location. To give you an example, I was at the doctor the other day, and the doctor needed to access my Discovery profile, and he requested access from his computer in his office while I was sitting there. I got a one-time password. I gave him the one-time password, and he immediately had access to my medical records and insurance information. Politics. Political candidates use websites and campaigns, which are helpful tools for announcing candidate platforms and so on. So you can take a look at the South African environment and see how do politicians and government use websites to clarify their laws and their policies and to attract voters. The internet has helped empower voters and revitalize the democratic process. Alright, so now let's get to some meat and potatoes. The intranet. What is that? What is an intranet? It is a network within an organization. And I always tell my computer network students that an intranet is that part of the network where you own all the equipment. I'll say it again. It is that part of the network where you own all the equipment. The cables, the routers, the switches, the servers belong to you. That is your network. It's an intranet. It is private. It is not accessible from the internet. It's a network within an organization. It uses internet protocols and technologies for collecting, storing, and disseminating useful information that supports business activities, but it's not connected to the internet necessarily. It uses the same techniques and protocols, but it's not necessarily connected to the internet. So you can almost think of it like a private little internet. It works the same way, but it's not accessible to everybody. It's used by employees for internal purposes. Companies also allow trusted business partners to access their intranet. So two companies can link their intranets together via a encrypted link that runs through the internet. But that's outside the scope of this course. We use internet technologies to solve organizational problems that have been solved in the past. It's different from a LAN. It is set up behind a firewall, and it defines and limits access, and it's important for security reasons. So here we have a simple intranet architecture. You have a number of people at the top and different sources of information at the bottom, and the intranet makes it possible for the people and services at the top to access the information and documents at the bottom. So what is the internet versus intranets? The internet, the user can be anybody. The geographical scope is unlimited. The speed is slower than an intranet, and security is less than that of an intranet. An intranet, importantly, approved users only. You typically have to log into an intranet. It is limited in scope. It is faster than the internet because you're sitting on the actual network at the location where you're working, and more than the internet, it's got more security. User access is more restricted. Now, because the intranet in an organization works the same way the internet does, you can use any application that you can use on the internet on an intranet as well. So you can also have email, you can also have voice over IP, and so on. Extranets are secure networks that uses the internet and web technologies to connect intranets of business partners together. They facilitate communication between organizations or between consumers. They're considered to be a type of inter-organizational system. Examples include electronic fund transfer and electronic data interchange. The last point there, EFT. We've all done EFTs. We've all paid people via our internet banking. Now, if you can imagine, you've got the Standard Bank with their intranet, and you've got ABSA with their intranet. If you want to connect those two networks together, you can route your data over the internet using an encrypted link. And that external part that links the two intranets together is called an extranet, because it uses the internet and web technologies to connect two organizations together. So you don't have access to that extranet. It's the bank's extranet. They use it for a specific purpose. Applications include timely order entry processing, courier tracking systems, and so on. If you take a look at this diagram here, I've got some partners and suppliers. They're connected to the internet. Then I've got a firewall here. Between the inner and the outer firewall, I've got an extranet, which is typically encrypted, inner firewall, and my intranet. Now, this is just one way in which you can organize an extranet. Advantages include coordination, feedback, consumer satisfaction, and cost reduction, expedited communication. So have a look at this slide. You can pause the video and have a look at the comparisons for intranets, extranets, and the internet. Alright, very important that you are clear on what is the internet, what is an intranet, and what is an extranet. The Web 2.0 and Web 3 eras. Web 2.0 is the trend toward web applications that are more interactive than traditional web applications. Collaboration or e-collaboration is one of the key components. The main focus is usually social networking and collaboration. So things like your Snapchat and your TikTok and those would be considered Web 2.0. It is, or they are, new applications that use the internet as their transport medium. Their main focus is, to bring people together, to get people to communicate. Facebook can also be considered Web 2.0, but it's mostly your new things, your Instagram, your Twitter, those types of stuff. It provides personalization that allows users to access the web more intelligently. If you have a device or a program on your tablet where you just speak and say, "Hey Google, I would like bread recipes, please," and it comes back and a voice says, "Here are some bread recipes I found." Or you would say, "Hey Google, how much formula should I give my baby?" And it would come back and say, "Here's a website I found that says that you must give so much formula to your baby," and so on, depending on their age. The main focus is it is intelligent. Intelligent web applications uses artificial intelligence technology. So first of all, that program on your tablet that recognizes the phrase "Hey Google," that uses artificial intelligence to also now recognize your voice and specific phrases and actually understands the meaning of words. The goal is to tailor online requests to users' specific search patterns, preferences, and needs. One part of Web 3.0 could be the semantic web. Semantic meaning meaning. It enables computers to understand what they are displaying and communicate more effectively with one another. Blogs are journals or newsletters that is updated frequently and intended for the general public. They reflect the author's personality and include philosophical reflections and opinions on social or political issues. Microblogs are newer versions of traditional blogs that enable users to create smaller versions of blog posts. Wikis. Wikis are websites that allows users to add, delete, and modify content. They're unique because an information user can also be an information provider. The drawback is that the content accuracy is affected by allowing anyone to modify the content. Now, you probably had a lecturer at university or school telling you that Wikipedia is not a valid reference, and it's true because it is not written by scholars. It's written by everyday people, and everyday people can sometimes talk nonsense and put nonsense on websites. But Wikipedia, as I say to my students, is a good place to start, because Wikipedia can give you a quick overview of a topic and then usually includes links at the bottom to more rigorous academic written type material. Corporate wikis include tighter security and access controls. Social networking sites is a broad class of websites and services that allows friends and families to connect. These are things like Facebook and so on. Popular social networking sites include Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and they're used by companies for customer opinions and advertising. Social networks can be used for promotion, and here are a number of those listed. RSS, not necessarily something that you would use, but it's called really simple syndication. It's a fast and easy way to distribute web content in extensible markup language format. It's something you subscribe to, and it can deliver new content selected from websites via a feed reader to one convenient spot. XML is a flexible method for creating common formats for information. Tags represent the kind of content being posted and transmitted, and it prevents confusion by defining data with a context. It's designed to improve interoperability and data sharing between different systems. So if two servers have to exchange information, there is a common format they can use to do that called XML. Podcasting is an electronic audio file posted on the web for users to download to their mobile devices or computers and listen to. So, pod coming from the word iPod, broadcasting, podcasting. The Internet 2, a collaborative effort involving more than 200 US universities and corporations. The goal was to develop advanced Internet technologies and applications for higher education and academic research. Gigapop, local connection point of presence that connects a variety of high-performance networks. The main function being to exchange Internet 2 traffic with a specified bandwidth. So Internet 2 is fast. It's about speed. It's about being smarter, faster. The Internet of Everything. The Internet of Everything allows web-based development. People, processes, data, and things are interconnected via the Internet using various means. Radio frequency ID devices, barcodes, wireless systems, and QR codes allow something to be tracked and traced via the Internet, and you can, for example, take a electronic sensor package that measures the ground humidity, and you can connect that to the Internet, and as long as that sensor package has got a cell phone data connection, you can sit at home and check that sensor package via a web page. That's an Internet of Things. You took a thing and you put it on the Internet. Physical objects are connected to the Internet and to all other physical objects. The technology behind the Internet of Everything facilitates automated inventory systems in the retail industry. So if you've got a RFID tag, a radio frequency ID tag, on an item, the moment that item goes past a scanner, the computer can know how many items there are and what they are, and store it, and you can access that information quite quickly. It's automated. You don't have to physically scan each device with a barcode scanner. You can automate and program appliances in domestic households. People, if your DSTV decoder is connected to the Internet, which it can, alright, you can control your DSTV decoder via your cell phone using an application, and you can set recordings for particular programs that you enjoy, even if you're not home. All remotely. That's an Internet of Things. Road and bridge systems. You can monitor the condition of a road or a bridge using a sensor package that is connected to the Internet. The Internet of Me is a subset of the Internet that gathers and processes information for a given user from the entire Internet and Internet of Things devices to deliver a personalized experience. So let us summarize. The Internet can be used and accessed via navigational tools, search engines, and directories. TCP/IP provides many useful email protocols. Web applications can be used with minimum cost. The Intranet is a network within a firm that uses Internet protocols and technologies. Extranets are considered a type of interorganizational system. iOS. It doesn't have anything to do with the Apple operating system. Just keep that in mind. Recent trends include Web 2.0 and Web 3.0. So know about Web 2.0 is all about speed. Web 3.0 is all about personalization. Individuals, businesses, and governments benefit from the Internet of Things technology. Thank you, people. That wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you.